Hey guys, welcome everyone to the channel. This is me, Jacob. You haven't heard from me in this sense in a long time, but I wanted to do something a little bit different for a video today. I'm here on Britannica.com. I do have an account here, and I think it has a lot of good information here. You always got to check the sources, of course, like you got to do with everything. But overall, I think they have some pretty good sources. And I wanted to check out World War II fact or fiction. It's a pretty extensive true or false, pretty much, questions being asked, and I just wanted to see if I could answer it. Of course, I have 10 seconds to answer each question, and the faster answer, the higher your score. And of course, you guys could also do this along with me, or just at a later time, and you can put in the comments what you guys got as well. I thought this would be an interesting test for me to try for World War II history, because World War II is one of the bigger topics, so I think a lot of people know more about it because it's one of the biggest wars in history. So let's take a look about what we can do. So first of all, the D-Day refers to the invasion of Japan. Obviously false. D-Day refers to the invasion of Normandy, which was in Europe, of course. In World War II, Turkey fought on the side of the Germans. False. I don't believe that Turkey fought on anyone's side, but I would think that they were more aligned towards the Allies, as they've always been kind of more westward leaning during history. Brazil fought on the side of the Allies. That is actually true. And if you didn't know that, they did happen to fight on the side of Allies. I don't believe that they put in a lot of men onto the front lines, but they did provide a lot of food, I believe, and supplies, things like that. So pretty interesting if you didn't know. During World War II, the Germans had a great victory at Stalingrad. So absolutely false. As many of you probably know, and if you don't, Stalingrad was a major defeat where the German 6th Army was completely surrounded and pretty much destroyed, which many historians believe that that was a turning point for the war in the East, turning back the Germans. Naples, Italy suffered extensive damage during World War II. So I don't know a lot about Naples, Italy, but I would say true. Okay, perfect, we got it right. And the only reason I would think it's true because it is in southern Italy, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but there was a lot of intense fighting in the southern part of Italy, and once they got to a certain, I forget the name of the German defensive line, things did get bogged down there, so a lot more fighting didn't go on in the northern side of Italy, or as tough as it was in the southern side, so I think that Naples and some other southern cities would take more extensive damage. No World War II battles were fought in North America. Yep, that is false. So the only thing I think might have come close to this was that the Japanese landed troops in the A2 Islands, which is like some small islands a little ways from Alaska. So that's about as close as anything came in North America. But other than that, I don't think anything else was much closer than that. Maybe, of course, Pearl Harbor, which was, I guess, not a, which you can consider a battle, but I don't really consider battles like a surprise attack, so I guess you can look at it in different ways. Teflon was widely used during World War II, so I don't know much about this, so I'm going to say false. Alright, so I don't know much about Teflon and when it was started being widely used, but apparently it was false. I'm not too sure about this. If you guys know anything or have any good articles about that, please put them down below. World War II began in 1939, so I was going to say true anyways, even if it was false, and I would disagree with whoever made this. A lot of people agree that it was 1939 because that's when Germany invaded Poland. Sorry about that. Just lost my train of thought. And that's when I think it probably began. You can even argue that it began with the invasion of Czechoslovakia, but it really wasn't a world war either with that because the Allies let it happen. But with Poland, that's when France and the Allies were pulled into the war. Alright, next. Japan won the Battle of Midway. Obviously false. So this one is super false because the United States actually pulled off an amazing victory, sinking 4 aircraft carriers at the Battle of Midway, which completely turned around the war in the Pacific, and probably was the main reason why the war turned around so fast. It's my belief that the United States would have won in the end, even if we lost at the Battle of Midway. Just because of the number of ships that the United States created by the end of the war, I don't think Japan would have been able to keep up with that. Russia was a part of the Axis powers during World War II. Oh, that is completely my fault. I meant to do false, but it looks like they switched on me. Russia was obviously not a part of the Axis powers. The closest thing they had was a non-aggression pact with Germany, where they partitioned Poland in 1939 when Russia and Germany both attacked Poland from both sides, and they partitioned it in half. So obviously they switched on me, so that's my bad. But yes, that is false. They were never a part of it. The Molotov-Ribbentrop. Okay, so yeah. So this is what I was just talking about in the last one. The Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact was a non-aggression pact between Germany and the Soviet Union, and that is true. Next, Battle of the Ardennes was the last major German offensive on the Western Front during World War II, and that is true. If you haven't heard of the Battle of the Ardennes, you can also call it the Battle of the Bulge, which is probably way more better known. But yeah, this is one of the most large major German offensives on the Western Front, and it really cost the Germans everything. It was a lot of resources thrown into this just kind of for nothing, because they made a huge, of course, the Battle of the Bulge, a huge bulge into the Allied lines, but they consolidated and then pushed it back, and you know, a lot of materials and manpower put into that just for it to fail. Norwegian Army officer Vidkun Quisling collaborated with the Germans in their occupation of Norway during World War II. I have no idea who this is actually, so I'm just gonna say true. Alright, so a little closer on the timer, but I have no idea about this. I'm going to have to research this myself. So apparently he did collaborate with the Germans. Interesting. I wonder if that's taught in any Norway history there. The Battle of Iwo Jima is the bloodiest in history of U.S. Marine Corps. Yeah, the Pacific was especially bloody just for the tiny swaths of land that that the United States was taking. And the Battle of Iwo Jima was definitely one of the worst. Definitely an extremely tough fought battle. I don't believe I have a video on it, but I think on my series of the United States island hopping campaign to Japan, I believe Iwo Jima would be one of them, and we can take a look at how bloody it was. It was pretty shocking whenever the news got back to the American public. The July plot was an assassination attempt on Benito Mussolini. So, once again, they keep on switching it on me, and this is really getting me, and I shouldn't be doing this. But no, the July plot was not an assassination attempt on Benito Mussolini, and it's kind of leaving me. So now that we come back, I can remember now that it was on Adolf Hitler, not Benito Mussolini, and they keep on switching this. I knew it was not an attempt on Benito Mussolini, but they just keep on switching around, and I gotta stay on my toes a little bit more. Sherman tank was a battle tank designed and built by the United States in World War II. Absolutely. There's about 50,000, 52,000 of those made, and they can be configured with so many things, and they were pretty good tanks. One of the really good medium tank, just designed to kind of do everything. It was very modular, so coming by parts wasn't as hard as with the German tanks and things like that, so definitely a great tank. The Croa breakout incident was the largest prison escape of World War II. I don't know what this is, so I'm just going to say true. It looks like it was. I have no idea what this is, so just give me a second. So it looks like this is whenever occurred on August 5th, 1944, when 1,104 Japanese prisoners of war attempted to escape from a prison of war camp near Kaura. Interesting. I never knew anything about that. Might be an interesting topic to take a look at later. Dwight D. Eisenhower was the supreme commander of the Allied forces in the Western Europe during World War II. I believe that's false. Oh, I must be thinking of Douglas MacArthur. Sorry about that. Douglas MacArthur, I was thinking of that, but he was the commander probably for the United States. Not probably, he was for the United States during World War II in the Pacific Theater. I don't know why I was thinking of him. So let's continue. Hitler Youth was an organization set up by Adolf Hitler in 1933, so that is true. The Hitler Youth was an organization set up by Adolf Hitler in 1933. And sorry if in the video there's a little cut, I had to go and take care of something. The Second Reich was the official Nazi designation of the regime in Germany. That is false, so they almost got me again, but they consider it the Third Reich in Nazi Germany. Auschwitz was Germany's first concentration camp and extermination camp. I believe that's... See, they keep on switching it, but it is false. I'm not sure which one it actually is. Dachau. So Dachau was the first one, and they just keep on getting me by switching them. Adolf Hitler was appointed the Chancellor of Germany in 1933. I believe that's true. Next question. Winston Churchill was the Prime Minister of England during World War II. Yep. True as ever. Funny enough, right after the war ended, they completely just threw Winston Churchill under the bus right after the war ended and elected someone else. I don't remember who it was. But kind of funny that Winston Churchill, that really put a lot of effort and time in keeping England in the war, was just thrown out right after the war. Joseph Stalin was the premier of the Soviet Union. I'm not sure what that is. I'm going to say true. So that must be like the leader or of some sort. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Yeah, leader. So makes sense. But Joseph Stalin was the leader of the Soviet Union, and fun fact, he was also Georgian, so he wasn't even Russian, really. I guess in that sense. So interesting. Enola Gay is the name of the B-29 bomber that was used the United States during World War II. So there was the Enola Gay is actually incredibly famous because it dropped one of the atomic bombs. I'm not sure where it was. Maybe Nagasaki. Well, you got two options: Nagasaki or Hiroshima, and I can't remember which one it was. But yes, it was one of those planes, those B-29 bombers that did drop an atomic bomb. The chief Allied powers during World War II included. Nope. So we already got false. So when you see Allied powers and you see Germany, Italy, and Japan, you immediately just got to think of Axis. The Allies are America, Great Britain and its colonial assets, and France. Stuff like that. Operation Barbarossa was the codename for the German invasion of Japan. See, also false. Germany never invaded Japan. No one invaded Japan. Operation Barbarossa was codenamed for the German invasion of Russia. So a little tricky question there. Battle of Stalingrad was a successful defense of the city of Stalingrad by the Soviet Union. So yep, so the Stalingrad was a successful defense by the Soviet Union. Very costly on both sides, but it did end up with the destruction of the 6th Army. Battle of Kursk was the largest tank battle in World War II. Absolutely. I do not know how many tanks was involved, but it was an incredible amount, and it caused a lot of destruction. U-boat was the name of the German submarine. True. So yeah, the U-boat was the name of the German submarines, which were very effective up until the middle part of the war, 1943, 1944, when technology and new tactics in the ocean were put together by the Allies to stop the U-boats from being so effective. Enigma was a German code. So yep. So the Enigma machine was a German code device used by the German armed forces to encode strategic messages during World War II. Absolutely. So, and it was a big deal whenever Polish spies got a hold of this and got it to the British, where they deciphered it and they were able to pretty much put together anything the Germans were trying to say. And this was really important for information, because knowing what your enemy's doing is absolutely critical. And if you know what they're doing, they don't know what you're doing, or that you know what they're doing, then it can be absolutely just amazing. The Japanese surrendered on the U.S. Missouri on September 2nd, 1942. Yep. So I wasn't exactly sure on the date. I was pretty sure 1945 looks right. I wasn't super sure on September 2nd, but I knew that they did surrender on the USS Missouri on the deck of it. Operation Meeting House, codename of the bombing of Tokyo. I'm not sure, so I'm just gonna say false. So it looks like it was true. I do not know Operation Meeting House was the code name for the bombing of Tokyo. So yeah. So the fire bombings of Tokyo were pretty devastating, since most of Japan during that time were in wood houses. Ultra was the code name of the Allied Intelligence Project in World War II. See, I don't know about this either. I guess it's true. I don't know a lot about the intelligence aspect of in World War II, so I think I might have to make a couple videos about that. Or if you guys have any books, readings, papers, anything like that, I would love to read them, because I'm very lacking in that department, and that's not good, because intelligence is a great deal in war. The goal of the Cairo conference was to defeat and occupy. I don't believe so. Oh well, you heard me say not believe so, but it was false. Sorry about that. Paul Warfield Tibbets Jr. was the pilot to drop the world's first atomic bomb. See, I don't know either, so I'm just gonna say true. I guess that is the man. Paul Warfield Tibbets Jr. going down in history forever. That's crazy. Yeah, I couldn't imagine what it'd be like to drop the first atomic bomb, and if he even knew what it looked like. So quite incredible. Singapore remained under Japanese occupation until, I believe that is true. So yeah, Singapore and the Indonesia area, Indochina, and all those areas were suffered greatly under the Japanese occupation, and it looks like they were occupied until 1945, which is a shame. Warsaw Ghetto Uprising was a revolt by Polish Jews against the German-occupied Poland. Yep, so that was a very large revolt against the Polish or against the Germans in Poland during World War II. Chester W. Nimitz led the decisive victory at the Battle of Midway. I believe so. Great. That's where his name is where we get the Nimitz class of aircraft carrier. So a little interesting. He was a pretty incredible admiral, to say the least. The alliance between Germany and Italy was known as the Pact of Steel. Yep, absolutely, Pact of Steel. Tripartite Pact was an agreement concluded by Germany, Italy, and Japan. Sorry about that, guys. I was completely bamboozled by that. And the Tripartite Pact was an agreement that was a part of Germany, Italy, and Japan, but not in 1945. I just looked at the 19 and then the 4, and I assumed that it would be 19, I believe. Yep, 1940. So my apologies for that. Very bad comprehension there. The Atlantic Charter was a joint declaration during World War II by the Soviet Union and the U.S. I'm not sure about this either, so I'm going to say true. So I guess it was false. So it looks like I do have some. Looking at this, it doesn't look too bad. I've missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A couple of these have been on the fact that they've been switching sides. A couple of these I haven't known, which is completely fine. And just like the last one, I misread. So yeah, I just gotta get my just gotta read a little bit better. But since we are on a timer, just trying to get the best score as possible. Tuskegee Airmen were black servicemen during the the Free French. It was okay. See, I almost clicked true because you see the Tuskegee Airmen, but the Free French Air Forces, they were part of the normal Air Force, just a segregated sense. The Lend-Lease Act was passed by Nazi Germany. Nope, false. Lend-Lease was passed by the United States during World War II to pretty much give whatever Great Britain needed to survive during World War II while the United States wasn't involved. GI Bill was a U.S. legislation adopted to benefit veterans of the Vietnam War. I believe that's... Oh. Wow. That is a little embarrassing. The GI Bill. Let's make sure that I'm going to get this information correct before I do this. Educational. I believe this is to all veterans, not just of the Vietnam War. Sorry about that. So yes, the GI Readjustment Act of 1944. So it was done even before World War II. Commonly known as the GI Bill, was a law that provided a range of benefits for some of the returning World War II veterans. The original GI Bill expired in 1956, but the term GI. So, yeah, so that was a little bit of a going too fast, trying to get a better score, but I should have realized it's for all veterans, not just the Vietnam War. Bismarck was a German aircraft used, that's false. The Bismarck, I believe, was a ship used, it was a ship, not an aircraft. And I think there is a very long story about how the Bismarck was very easily able to get away from lots of British ships and destroyed a lot of them, and it took a long time to hunt it down, and it's actually an incredible story. It could be a good video for later on. The Anti-Comintern Pact was an agreement signed between Germany, Italy, and Japan. I believe that's true. Yep. So the Anti-Comintern Pact was, the Comintern was pretty much the allies of the Soviet Union, so the Comintern Pact was like the allies pretty much in a sense. Operation Husky is the codename of the Allied. I believe that's false. I can't remember what the codename is off the top of my head. So the codename was Operation Downfall. So you can get the information right there. He did there. The Bataan Death March was forcefully march of Japanese prisoners of war by the Americans. So that is false. So it's actually switched. So the Japanese forced American prisoners of war to march back and forth the Bataan Peninsula until they died and had very brutal treating. Were treated very brutally, and crazy fact, a lot of New Mexican National Guardsmen were some of the people stationed in the Philippines during this. So a lot of New Mexico units were killed there because of things like this. Benito Mussolini was also known by the title Der Führer. Nope, that's Adolf Hitler. Nazi Germany described the Holocaust as the final solution. Yep, they did. Hitler did call it the final solution. Tojo Hideki was the prime minister of the Philippines. False. I believe he was the prime minister or whatever he was in Japan. Signal Corps is a branch of the U.S. Army that provides combat service. I believe that's... Oh, I guess that's false. No, oh, the Signal Corps, I believe, is for communications. I believe so. Let me check on that 1 second. And I was correct. I don't know why I pressed things so quickly, but yes, the Signal Corps is the branch of the U.S. Army that provides not combat services, but for communication. Very important. Joseph Goebbels was the Minister of Propaganda under... So, nope, he was under Adolf Hitler in Germany. The first city to be bombed by the... I believe that it... Okay, so it was Hiroshima. See, just little things like that I need to brush myself up on, so... Definitely something I need to work on to be more efficient of. So let's these are some things that I can work on. Just looking at this, like I knew Nagasaki and Hiroshima, as I talked about it earlier in the video, about how they were bombed, but I always forget which one was bombed first, so it's Hiroshima, and I just need to work on retaining that information. The invasion of Okinawa is the largest amphibious landing conducted by the U.S. during the Pacific War. I believe that is true. I'm not sure which landing it was, but I think some of the landings in the Pacific were even bigger than D-Day. So, and they were usually conducted just by the United States and even less allies than at D-Day. So, quite a crazy fact to think of. Charles de Gaulle led the Anders army against Germany. I believe that. Okay, I guess that's false. So I am correct in thinking that he is the he was the leader of Free France during Germany in World War II, but I guess he just did not lead the Anders army, which I know nothing about. So if you have any suggestions on what to learn, so put that down below in the description. And then we have the Potsdam Conference was held in Potsdam, Germany, between the Axis powers. So I'm not sure about what this is, so I'm just going to choose, I guess, true. So I guess it's false. So it looks like I got 45 after 60. We could see the results. Let's see. We have 1,111 out of 1,700. So a couple of these were truly of me not knowing. Looks like the community average is 342. We got a couple of really high scores. I guess probably people just click on it fast or just take these over and over and remember what they are. But I don't think that's that bad. You know, you can't always know everything. A couple of those were my mistake, reading too fast or just getting things twisted up. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys want to see more videos like this, I always love to try to put my knowledge to the test on different aspects. You know, I'm human. I don't remember anything. I'm young, actually. You know, I'm only 21, so I still have lots to learn. And, you know, you can, even if you're 90, there's always something you can learn, I believe. So hopefully I can retain this information and learn about some of these interesting points that I didn't really know about, and especially the intelligence, because I didn't get very many of those, and the code names was something I struggled with as well. Well, anyway, guys, thank you guys for joining me for this new video. I hope you guys do enjoy, and I'll see you next time.